I have a big S on my chest. Normally, this means hope as the sign of Superman. Today it means stupid idiots. Because we are back once again to point out today's stupid idiots. I didn't do round 24, so we'll do a bit of that now. Collingwood are not locked in to first. They lose, they can drop as low as third. Well, they didn't. They finished first, just like everyone expected. No one thought pathetic Essendon would go there and win. I know I said go there. Obviously, Essendon are also based in Victoria, but it felt like they didn't belong there anyway. So I think that point still, that statement still stands, my friends. And for that, Mask McGee, you just made the list. And so did Essendon. Mask McGee. I'm going to leave some space because he's probably going to be on the list again. You know what? We'll have a mini Premier League feature in the middle of this, all right? I'll be quick. I was taking the mick out of Chelsea losing almost every game because they spent over £1 billion in the past year, which is significant. That's more than anyone in the league. And they're still terrible. So I'll just make a joke about that, considering I support Arsenal and they are Chelsea and we are literally rivals. We hate each other. So, of course, we're going to have digs at each other. This guy, take it a little bit too seriously. One of the younger sides in the league, still spent $1 billion. If any team in the top 6 spends $1 billion, they should do well. There's no excuse. If Arsenal spent $1 billion, they should do well. So I don't know what this argument is. Sold almost half the squad this year. Again, spent $1 billion. Total spend is relevant. Talk about net spend. Net spend is only relevant for profits. Net spend is literally just profits. How much you sell does not affect the fact that you spent $1 billion. Like, what's going? You haven't sold the players you spent $1 billion on. That doesn't make any sense. Net spend is not relevant to the pitch. You have added $1 billion to the pitch, to the team. Second game with a new manager, new game style. The new manager is Pochettino, who's actually a very good manager. So, again, spent $1 billion. You felt the need to have a dig? I'm an Arsenal fan. I hate Chelsea by default. Of course I'm going to have a dig. Do you know how rivalries work? Anyway, this is about AFL, I'm sorry. All right, we're not going to put them on the list just because it's an AFL episode, okay? But we'll just... Why would an Arsenal fan have a dig at Chelsea? Like, well, what sort of question is that? Anyway, let's go. Wasn't caught for the first stupidity video this year. Let's go. You're on other ones though, mate, so take the L. Again, take the L. I've also noticed your name is no longer 69420. You've changed that now. The Greater Western Sydney Giants to defeat the Carlton Blues and then go all the way in the final series to win the Premiership in the end. I'm not going to put you on the list because they only were 1 point away from Collingwood, so we'll let you off. We'll let you off with a disciplinary. Actually, you have a disciplinary. Collingwood by 28. Well, I mean, it's not the margin, but we'll give you that. Gold Coast lost, so that's one. Hawthorn lost, so that's another one. Brisbane won their game. Yeah, they beat St Kilda's. Geelong, they lost, so that's 3 wrong already. That's 3 wrong. Crows won. Fair enough. They did play West Coast, but fair enough. Port Adelaide won. Okay. Swans lost. That's 4 wrong. And Blues lost. You got 5 wrong out of 9. Unacceptable. AFL Legend just made a list 5 times. Do stand-up comedy. No, I prefer sit-down comedy. Hawks wrong. North wrong. Cats wrong. Eagles. Okay, let me just, first of all, grass. I just say grass, okay? So, Hawks wrong, North wrong, Cats wrong, Eagles, that's got to be at least 5. Port by 81 against Richmond. I know you got the result right, but you're on the list for that. 81 points for Port Adelaide, you're having a laugh. Swans Melbourne draw. I appreciate the bravery of that. It's very hard to predict a draw, so I'll let you off for the Carlton incorrect one. But you're still on the list 9 times. You're an idiot. Melbourne not a bottom team from 2018 onwards, except when they finished 17th in 2019. Well, if you check the ladder, 17th is not actually bottom. It's second from bottom. So take that! Here we go. Meme. I'm still going to call you 69420 because that was your name, literally, until like last week. The Collingwood Magpies to go out in straight sets in the AFL Final Series of this year. He predicted the best team. Like, this is it. This is the end of the season. So the Magpies have been first the entire season. So he knows how good they are. And he reckons straight sets. He thinks they're Geelong. Apart from last year, Geelong in the finals, they tend to choke a little bit. He thinks they were Geelong. They are not Geelong. They are Collingwood, unfortunately. You just made the list 10 times. Outrageous. They were quite clearly the best team in the comp. Of course they weren't getting out straight sets. They're not Melbourne. Probably the strongest 5, 6 and 7 ranked teams on ladder in a long time. The Saints wasted a spot. But you won't be on the list for that. But I'm just saying, you know what? St Kilda just made the list. The Giants just rolled them over like they were nothing. My word, they did. They limped to the finals. They did. They had a great start to the season, then they limped to the finals. That's what happened. Yeah, this was my moon joke because of a space flight. It takes 4 days to get to the moon, not 12 hours. I was basically making a joke that it's quicker to get to the moon than to Australia to play an AFL game. Which is obviously a joke. Obviously, I don't think you could play an AFL game in the moon. I mean, can you imagine the gravity? You'd need like a specialized stadium for that, first of all. You have to build it. Second, you can get to the moon in 12 hours, but you got to do it, you know, because to get to the moon specifically, to land on there, you got to go a specific direction. You can't just fly at it. You got to go in a certain way so you can actually land on it. That's why it takes 4 days. If you actually launch something straight at the moon, it won't take 4 days. It takes less than a day. Okay? So technically, what you can do is you can strap every player to a space probe and they'll get there. Alright? There's a high chance that they'll miss the moon and fly into the abyss. But as long as they volunteer, we can do this. Alright? We'll test it with Gold Coast players. No one will miss them anyway. Got to clarify that's a joke before YouTube probes me. But yeah, theoretically you can get there in 12 hours. You gotta just hit and hope, basically. Hit and hope. Just fire something at the moon. Hopefully it lands there. A small chance is better than no chance. We'll just put it that way.
You just made the list! 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 You just made the list!